Welcome back, folks, to this year's installment of the Ted Drews Question Bowl, brought to you by Ted Drews, keeping WashU cardiologists in business since 1930. This year we have a real quality matchup, and it's shaping up to be one heck of a battle. What do you think, Chet?
A real tough fight indeed. These guys are out there fighting for all the marbles, Fred. They're here, and they're here to sell the score for good. They're going to take no prisoners. They're not going to stop for anybody, anything, and especially not for their classmates.
You know, like I always said, Chet, the Question Bowl is an individual sport. Let's break down this matchup. I'm torn on this one, Chet. Brian's consistency this year has been truly remarkable. Half the time, most of the class doesn't even know what he's talking about. But Rob has undoubtedly had the best second half of the season. His work since February, nothing short of tremendous. And he's been on a tear since the March break. Just look at these numbers. Robert Chen, his QPL, 5.4. Tremendous. And his TT1, time to first question, 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's flying out there.
The professor doesn't even have time to get ready. Brian's QPL is a little bit lower, but his follow-up questions are phenomenal. And his I don't know responses, 3.2. I think the numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, that man is thorough. I'll give him that. Now this guy, Rob, I like to call him the desperado of dispute. He's out there like an outlaw, Fred. He's out here rustling cattle, terrorizing the plains. Men, women, and children are cowering in fear. He's got his 6-shooter ready, and he's about to start firing anything and everything at all the professors.
Rob is asking questions at an alarming rate. His QPL is approaching levels we saw during the Adderall era, back in the undergraduate question league.
Yeah, but don't sleep on Brian. He's always in the game. He's got a flair for the dramatic. He's eking out a number of buzzer-beating victories. And all I know is if he's in the game near the end, it's going to get exciting, Fred. And I cannot wait to get this baby started.
Let's get to it. Our moderator this evening is Professor Christine Horan, a WUSM alumni who has graciously agreed to lecture on reproductive physiology.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my lecture on reproductive physiology. I'm so glad that so many of you could make it to class today. Now, reproductive physiology is a complex topic, so I'm going to ask, if at all possible, could you keep questions to a minimum? Okay, so we're going to start with a survey of the female menstrual cycle. The female menstrual cycle typically begins on what's called day 0, but I think it's easier conceptually if we begin with day 14, ovulation. Ovulation itself is highly anatomically and age-dependent. Yes, question in the front.
Ooh, an early blow for Rob. With a quick question only a few slides in, he snatches the lead.
Yeah, and the producers, I think, are telling me that sets a new record. You know, in all my years calling this, Fred, never have I ever seen someone ask a question that fast. He's like a bat out of hell that was shot out of a cannon.
You started commentating in August, Chet.
Listen, the audience did not need to know that.
Well, first of all, I really appreciate you for coming here and taking your time to speak with us. And I think I can speak for the rest of the class in saying that we all really appreciate it. So thank you for being here. With that, you had mentioned just a couple of lines ago that ovulation was a cycle. What do you mean by that?
It is a cycle, so it begins and ends in the same place.
Thank you for that. Wow, I really appreciate it.
Frequency pulsations of gonadotropin-releasing hormone result in luteinizing hormone release, whereas low-frequency pulsations will result in follicle-stimulating hormone release.
Question.
Yes.
It seems to me that evolutionarily speaking, there's no benefit to having the same hormone release both FSH and LH. Why do you think that humans have co-evolved that release? What's the physiological benefit?
I'm not sure what you're asking. Are you asking why FSH and LH are induced by the same hormone?
Yeah.
Well, that's an excellent question, but I'm afraid I don't have an answer for you.
Oh! Brian strikes back with a powerful I don't know response. He's really pushing the limits of these lecturers, pulling into an essential tie with Rob.
Yeah, he's like a damn rattlesnake. He's striking just at the right time. He's stealing Rob's excellent questions, and if he keeps at it, he can even pilfer the trophy.
Well, it looks like things have been calming down recently. We may be heading towards a halftime with a closely contested match.
Okay, we've covered a lot of information. We are still on the first slide because there were a lot of questions during the past hour, but let's take a 5-minute break and we're going to come back and talk about some complications regarding ovulation.
Dr. Grant, I wanted to ask you a question really quickly about the involvement of the luteinizing hormone. I was really curious about the involvement.
And there it is, the halftime call.
Keep going,
And
raise your hand.
what are your impressions going into the break?
This has been sensational. It is absolutely positively having me sitting on the edge of my seat. Look at me, man. Look at me, Fred. I'm witnessing greatness. It's happening before my very eyes. Can you not see this, Fred? Can you not see this?
Right you are, Chet. Now, it looks like these halftime adjustments will be key for the competition and may let one of these two clinch the title. They're both clearly taking advantage of their halftime break.
Yeah, like I always say, you can never underestimate the value of a good halftime adjustment.
And it looks like we're back. After the halftime questioning, Brian is leading with a score of 3 3/8 to -4. But it definitely appears that we're heading for an intense second half of action. Here's Professor Haran.
Fallopian tube. Now, if the egg is fertilized in the improper place, then you can have an implantation outside of the uterus. This is called an ectopic pregnancy.
Question. I recently read in the Portuguese Journal of Ectopic Pregnancies that different sexual positions can result in different locations of ectopic pregnancies. Can you tell us more about that?
Oh, a dismissive glance and ignoring of the question. That's really gonna cost him, especially now in these final pivotal moments.
Ooh, and look at the glare on her face. If Brian, man, he did everything he could. He's got a strong arm raise, nice and straight, a projecting voice, and an interesting question. But Haran wasn't having any of it. Defense stopped him right in his tracks. A straight rejection like that has got to hurt his confidence.
Moving on to other issues, there can actually be a drop in reproductive function when you're too skinny. This is due to a lack of leptin stimulation on the pituitary gland.
Follow-up question. I seem to recall a previous lecturer mentioning that this could present with bone injuries as well. Could you explain why?
Wait, follow-up question. Is it possible for men to have menstrual cycles?
Follow-up question. What exactly is fibrillin anyway?
Follow-up question. I think we had talked about fibrillin in another lecture. I think that's less important. What's more important is what are sort of the types of non-female specific hormones that can maybe regulate ovulation? I think that's probably more relevant.
Follow-up question. What's the history of hormones and who first discovered them and who first introduced the term? Question. Exactly how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
What's the meaning of life? Why am I here right now? What's the weather like? Are you sure you know those answers?
All right.
Question. What is the airspeed velocity of an unlanded swallow?
Which came first, cervix or the egg?
What are the roots of the Vidian nerve?
And what would Dr. Deucranian think about that?
When do you expect we're going to get a grand unified theory for physics?
What a furious back and forth! Rob and Brian dueling for the lead, but Rob's motor is relentless. He surges ahead with a perfect, self-deprecating question.
Yeah, Brian's got the quick release on the hand raise, but Rob's going handless. Take that, Miss Shonday in elementary school. You don't need no courtesy to win this game.
But wait, this may be a really dumb question, but what is a uterus?
Really?
This may have sealed the deal for Rob. He went negative so well. She even had to acknowledge him verbally, and by doing so, she gave him the points that may have sealed the deal.
Man, I got nothing.
And there goes the final whistle.
Yes, that does it. Rob Chen has won the 2016 Question Bowl, one of the finest finishes I have ever seen.
Yeah, Fred, I'm now realizing that never in my life will there ever be an event that surpasses this in greatness. I've reached the apex. This is my Everest. Everything is just downhill from here.
Let's go down to our sideline reporter, Evelyn, who has Rob with the victory.
Rob, wow, what a match. What are your thoughts right now? How are you feeling?
You know, I want to give my hats off to Brian. He did an amazing job today. You know, I think on any other day, he would have taken this. But I was just on my A game today. Left and right, I just knew what I was doing. So I feel like I can take on anybody today.
Well, congratulations. It was certainly fun to watch.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm here tonight after the Question Bowl with unfortunate loser Brian Hickman. Brian, can you tell me what happened out there tonight?
You know, I just gave it my all, and I thought I came up with some really good questions out there, but there were just a few that I didn't have ready to go. That, like I thought of after the fact. Like, I started to really wonder about what the chemical composition is of the endometrial fluid, but I just didn't think about it in the moment, and the fact is that Rob did, and that's why he's a winner tonight.
What are your next moves?
I think I'm going to take my game and try to move to Connor.
Connor, I look forward to the match.